Okay, here are my expanded thoughts on the movie Searching. I saw it the other night and I enjoyed it, okay? Was it the greatest movie on the planet? No. Was it creative? Yes. I really enjoyed the beginning of the film because it showed how technology progressed as you're looking at everything, windows popping up on the screen. It was like you're watching a computer the whole time, a desktop. And so you're seeing all these things come up. So when someone goes missing, you're seeing television reports streaming from someone's website, a news website, and so on and so on. And that's really what this whole movie was about. John Cho's character is a father. His daughter goes missing, and he has to search for her. And he's trying to communicate with the police department. There's a detective played by Deborah Messing who, in the beginning of the film, is assigned the case. And so he's communicating to her with video chat, and he is going through all of her social media and finally putting the pieces together to find his daughter. And what he comes to find out is that his daughter really wasn't who he thought she was, because there was a death in the family. His wife and the daughter's mother had passed away from cancer, and there was a disconnect with the father-daughter relationship because he was mourning and she was mourning in her own way. And so of course, you know, she's going into social media to find an outlet to people to talk to and things like that. And so there's these chat rooms and all this other kind of stuff. And so as the movie goes on, you think that she's been captured and possibly murdered, and he's trying to solve this whole thing. All the characters were really good. I think it's definitely a movie I recommend that people should go see. There were some really twisted angles that went into it. There was an actor named Joseph Lee who played the brother of John Cho's character, and he was like a kind of a burnout, did a lot of weed and things like that. And at certain points in the movie, like, John Cho starts freaking out and he sees some text messages between his daughter and his brother, and he thinks that maybe he was sleeping with his daughter, so he sets up video cameras in his house, but the audience is seeing it through the app. Like, you'll see him put one up and it's like a first person, you know, goldfish eye thing. And so he's trying to trap his brother into confessing to, like, kidnapping and murdering his daughter. And but it winds up not being him. And you know, I'm already saying so much anyway. But anyway, make a long story short, I kind of figured this movie out about halfway through. My wife was with me, and she'd look over at me every once in a while, because in the beginning I was kind of like watching the movie and kind of getting the whole story and everything. And then, but there was this one moment in the film where there was a conversation between the detective Deborah Messing and John Cho, the father, and he was saying, "How could I have missed this? How could I have missed this?" And Deborah Messing gives an example of how her son had done something wrong, and she had kind of covered for him. He had was going around collecting money for some sort of police fraternal order thing, but it was all made up. So he was just taking money from people, and then when some of the neighbors caught on, they called her, and instead of her yelling at her son and saying, "Hey, you know, return all this money," she said, "No, my son was collecting for the fraternal order," and she covered for him, because apparently he's a little socially awkward. And so that kind of was weird. But then as John Cho, it just felt weird to me that they would just kind of drop that in. But as the movie goes on, John Cho starts figuring out, like, he finds the daughter's missing car, which is at the bottom of a lake, and he calls Deborah Messing and he goes, I'm here at the lake, I'm here at the lake." And she's looking at her in the video chat and she's like, don't go anywhere, I'm coming. And she did it with such a panic that I was like, okay, something's not right. And then she had another conversation with John Cho, and the son kind of creeps through the back door behind her in the video chat, and she goes, "Not now, son, not now," and then turns back to him, and I just went, I got it. I figured it out. The son killed the daughter, and Deborah Messing's trying to cover it all up. And she's the detective. So you think she's there, and they're having press conferences, and they're having search parties, and all this kind of stuff. The whole time, she's in on the shit. And I figured that out, and right when I saw the boy peep his head in, and then she yelled at him and told him, and the door closed. But John Cho, his father character, he's not picking up on any of that stuff. But then all of a sudden, they pull the car out, and there was a sign of a struggle, and there was blood in the car, but there was no body. So there's still hope that she's alive, this daughter. And then what happens is John Cho calls the police department to get in touch with the detective, and the operator, or the other police officer on the other end, had said something to the effect that it was so nice that she volunteered, Deborah Messing's character, this detective, to take your case. And he said, volunteered? Wait a minute, what do you mean volunteered? And right away I was like, oh, well, see, now my gut feeling of that scene was correct. And sure enough, she was in on it. So her son was the one that met her online and formed this relationship, but did it under the guise of of a different person. Stole the identity of just some of a girl online, and then they met at the lake and all this other kind of stuff. And then the son like pushed her down a ravine, and so you don't know if she's dead or not. And but anyway, it all blows up in everyone's face, and Deborah Messing gets arrested in the whole 9 yards. And it was pretty good. And but the daughter was alive. I said in my other video there was a moment, my clean review, when there was a moment where my hair stood up on my arms. It was when they found the daughter, because what happens is, like, the human body can't survive more than like 5 days in extreme temperatures without water. At least that's what they alluded to in the film. I'm sure other people have survived a little bit longer than that. But what happened was Deborah Messing was being interrogated by the police, and so you're looking at the monitor from the interrogation, and she's like, nobody could survive 5 days out, and that she's dead. She fell to the bottom of the ravine. It was a 50-foot fall. Blah 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 blah. But during the search party early on in the film, it had rained for a day, and they were asking volunteers to come out in the rain. And so John Cho's character said no, she didn't go 5 days without water because it rained, so there was water coming down. So if she opened her mouth and she could drink some, and she was down at the bottom of a ravine all banged up and broken legs and all that kind of stuff, she could have survived. So next thing you know, they go to the place where where Deborah Messing's character says yes, this is where her son apparently pushed her down the ravine, and they go there, and a helicopter is flying over, and it's a news report, and you're seeing them pull her out and all that. And it ends with a happy ending, which is really good, because a lot of these search movies, usually there's a dead body involved. The movie's an hour and a half long, so it's real quick. It's an easy watch. Is it something I'm going to buy a DVD or do anything like that later on? No, but if I catch it later on again, I'll probably watch it again. It was very inventive on how they tied in all the different social media platforms the way they did. And it's amazing how much we as individuals put out there on the internet, as far as searches and stuff, that you can really get into people's lives and figure things out. So it's almost like a warning to everyone, but at the same time, they never would have found the girl alive in this movie if it wasn't for all the social media connections and things that went down. So if you like the movie Unfriended, which wasn't too thrilled with that film, you'll like this movie. If you didn't see Unfriended, I still think you'll like this movie. Again, it pulled in like $6 million at the box office this weekend. It debuted at number 4, I think. And they probably were hoping for a little bit higher than that. It did another $6 million or $6.5 million overseas. So it's cruising at $13 million. If it keeps picking up $1 million a day or $500,000 a day over the next week up until the new releases come out next week, it's probably going to make its money back. and it hasn't really opened wide overseas, which I think this movie is the type of film that's going to do gangbusters overseas and may top out at like 35 million here in the US, but overseas it could do 80, 90 million, and you know, that's a hit. This thing's going to be a hit for the director and a hit for everyone involved. So yeah, I think it's a good movie. It's a lot of suspense, you know, and you're literally, because you're like watching a video monitor on a screen, you're doing this the whole time. You're following every click, every mouse, every typing, everything, and it's fun. It was a fun movie, you know, and so I think everyone should check it out. So anyway, that's it. That's my expanded thoughts. I know I kind of did a lot of spoiling, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time.